Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to our very special call this Wednesday, May 23. I'm super excited because I get to hear from a good friend of mine and somebody I've admired for many years, Michael Ann Dillinger, all the way from Hernando, Mississippi. I think that's a cool place to say you're from, Michael Ann. Um, and Michael Ann has been in direct sales. We were actually in beauty control together, and she did that for. You've been doing that for about 20 years. You've been in the beauty business. She was always a top seller also, so that was just really fun to watch her become a rock star in beauty control, and now in TruAura because she's now an executive manager. So congratulations on that. She's got 3 boys, and I know she's super busy, not only with her family, but also in her church and her community, because I see on Facebook she's just always volunteering or doing something with the chamber, and it's just really cool to see, Michael Ann, that you were able to be home with your boys while they were growing up, right? While you built your business, and you can also you're able to give back, at the same time. So I just admire you, and I'm excited to hear your 5 best tips for booking a consultation or a facial party. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of ask you things if you don't mind as we go, and I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Well, I guess the number one thing is to let your genuine excitement come through. There's an old saying that if you are on fire, people will show up just to watch you burn. And I know one time in our previous business, a friend of mine's mother was visiting from out of town, and she asked me about what I did. And I went into the grapes, raisins, and cornflakes, and I was explaining the whole thing. And she booked an appointment, and she came and did a facial. And when it was over with, she said, well, I just have to share something with you. I really didn't know what you were talking about when you started talking about grapes, raisins, and cornflakes, but you were so excited about it. I thought I'd come check it out. So that was kind of like a lesson learned. You have to be genuinely excited. You don't, you're not faking it. You're not, and if that's not your personality, it has to come across and it has to be genuine. And when you're sharing something that you are truly excited about, it does not come off as sales. If we go to a good movie or a good restaurant, we don't think twice about sharing sharing with people what we saw or what we enjoyed. And it's the same thing with the products. You're being selfish if you don't share with people. So just letting people know what the products have done for you, or, some cool aspect or ingredient of the product. So I think that's number one, is just kind of piquing their interest. You're not being pushy when you're sharing or you're talking about the products. We have something really good that we need to share with them. So I think that's number one. Number two.
Hold on, because I'm so glad you started with that, because that is a concern. It's a very real concern for so many consultants of, how do I share this without being pushy? I don't want to come across as being pushy, kind of thing. So I'm so glad you started with that. And I've had several people say to me recently, because they've heard me talking, and I think that's the power of in person or even over the phone, second best is that they can see how much you believe in it. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Awesome. Thank you.
Another thing, I have found that you do not stay in sales long term if you are pushy. You may be able to get them to buy one time, but then they're going to avoid you because you made them feel pressured. And I find myself a lot of times saying, oh, it's totally your decision. It is not our job to make them purchase. Our job is just to share with them what we have and what the options are. And then they'll make the decision from there. But if we do a good job of educating them about what we have, I think it was Brian Tracy that said, in order to make the sale, the client needs to know 3 things. Why do I need it? And how to use it, and how much does it cost? And that's basically all they need to know. So the why do we need it and how does it work is, part of that, explaining to them what we have and being excited about it. And then the how much does it cost, that comes later with the close.
Yeah. Awesome. Love that. Thank you.
Another thing is to give them options, and there's so many options that we could do. I love selling in party situations because you're meeting several people at one time, and then your hostess is going to get free stuff for doing it, and she's going to be excited, and you're going to be able to reward her for the hard work that she put in getting everyone there. But part of that, a lot of people don't realize they won't commit because they're not sure what's expected of them. So if you tell them up front, you know, you can have 2 people. It doesn't have to be, I'm calling it a U+2 or a U plus however many will fit at your kitchen table. So you can let them know they're not expected to have 15 people there. And it's really better if they don't have large groups. If they have that many, it's better to break it up. But a party is not for everyone. Some people would rather just spend 20 minutes and sit down with you one-to-one. And I used to think that everybody that came and did a facial or a consultation had to use all of the products and then get a makeover. And I found along the way that some people will schedule a facial and come and do the facial and not put products on their face. And that sounds really crazy. And in the beginning, I was kind of resistant to that. But, you know, I learned to say, how do you want this appointment to go? Do you want to wash your face, or do you just want me to tell you about the products? Because there are some people out there that, you know, they may be more scheduled and not have as much extra time. Then you have some people that will come and stay 3 hours for a 10-minute facial. So if you ask them up front, but you can give them the option of what we call a one-to-one, and I'm calling it, you know, it's going to take 15 minutes. It's just 7 products. And of course, if you have questions and you want to stay longer, that's fine. But my part of explaining does not take long at all. So you can go to them. They can come to you. I prefer if it's a one-to-one that they come here, and I typically tell them that's a little easier if you come to me, but I don't mind coming to you. If they come to you, then you can schedule more people in one day. I know a month or 2 ago, I had 3 people set up for one Saturday, and all 3 of them joined us TLC and bought extra products. So I didn't leave the house and I didn't do a party, but I sold, I forget, I think it was around 900 just in that one day with those 3 appointments. You can also do a traveling spa basket. And you can do that for different reasons. I have one consultant that just has the basic 4 pieces plus the eye cream, and they use it for 3 days. And the purpose of her basket is for them to see the products, what they feel like, what they smell like, how they feel on the face. I have a basket with all 7 pieces that they're keeping for an entire week, because the purpose of my basket is I want them to see the difference before and after. So in order to take the basket and use it for a week, they have to agree to let me do before and after pictures that I can use in my business. And I'm following up, most of those people are interested in getting products. So whether they're going to be a hostess or whether they purchase, for the most part, that's working out also. You can do phone consultations, especially for the people that have been buying from us already. They are going to have to switch skincare lines at some point, because what they're using, they're going to run out of. So even if they're booked up now, you can still go ahead and have that consultation with them. And if they've been buying from you and they're already your customer, they trust you. So they don't necessarily have to see the product. I know I sold a lot of it before we even got the case in. So you can just pick up the phone and ask people how they're doing with products. Another thing that you'll hear is, well, I don't need anything right now. I'm stocked up right now. So we'll wait and book the appointment when I run out. I don't mind going ahead and meeting with them. And that's what I say. Look, if I've got time and you've got time, let's go ahead and put it down. You don't have to purchase anything right now, but this will give you an idea of whether or not this is something that you want when you do need products. So like right now, I have 3 or 4 people that I've sat down with. They've used the products. They definitely want to become TLC members, but they're using up what they have. And that is 100% okay. You can also do booths. I have found booths to be a great way to build your business. And I had a tablecloth made that says microbiome friendly skincare and cosmetics. And when people would come over, I would tell them about the microbiome and about probiotics. And that piqued a lot of interest. You know, we've kind of got something unique right now that's just kind of coming out on the market. But make sure you follow up with those people at the booth. So that just being flexible and, just knowing that it's not a cookie cutter business. Some people are okay talking on the phone. Some people want you to spend 3 hours with them, and just be flexible when you're giving them options. So that's point number 2.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And you said booth. You said that very quickly in your sweet Southern accent. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that you said booths, or like events or expos. Kind of thing. Yeah.
And okay. I have a sign-up sheet. I print 2 per page, and I probably have too many options on it right now. I need to tweak it where I'm getting their information, and then they can check I would like a link to your website. I would like your app. I would like to talk with you about doing, a party, whatever. So I'm giving them options, and I'm not doing it for a drawing. I quit doing that a long time ago. Yes, you may get 50 or 60, but if only, 10% of those are truly interested, you waste a lot of time wading through that. So what I'm doing is I'm telling them a little bit about it, and then you can even have some product there to demo, but then I'll have my clipboard and I'll say, now, if you'd like some additional information, all this is, it tells me how you would like me to communicate with you and what you would like information on. So that's kind of how I get them to follow up. And then I always text them, and I resisted texting. I'm old school. I would always want to call them, but people don't answer the phones anymore. So now, usually while I'm sitting there in between people, I go ahead and load all of their information onto my phone. And then in parentheses, I put where I met them. That way, when they call me back, it gives me a reference for where I know the people. And I just text them, thank you for stopping by the booth. If you request some more information, I'll be following up with you. Here's a link to my website. And that's but don't book so many. If you can't follow up, then you're wasting your time. So you need to make sure when you're booking them, you save yourself some time to follow up. And it could take a week to follow up with all of your leads if you have a good booth.
That's awesome. Good tip. Thank you.
All right. And then the third tip is not something I came up with. This has been around a long time. Is it harder to go up a mountain or down a mountain? And it's harder to go up a mountain. So you want to determine what outcome would you like to have when you're talking to someone? What are the possible scenarios? Best case scenario, we could have a selling consultant that starts their business and just becomes a rock star. Probably second after that would be a party, because then you're going to meet multiple people. Third after that would be a one-to-one. And then if they don't want to do that, the basket. So if you're kind of starting, whether you start with consultant or whether you start with party, after you pique their interest and you're talking to them about it, if the first thing you offer them is to take the basket home, that is super easy. And then if you're like, well, instead of the basket, why don't we sit down? Well, my schedule. Well, I tell you what, why don't we get together with all of your friends? So you're going up the mountain. So you always want to start with the biggest thing first. And then you can kind of, mention the party first. And then if they say, well, I'm not sure when I would do a party, my friends are out of town, well, how about just you and I get together? And then if they have a reason for not doing that, then you can offer the basket. Because I'm telling you, everybody would take the basket for a week, and I'm only doing one basket. I'm not going to do multiple. That's an investment for me to put all 7 products in there. And I want to be selective with that basket. So right now I have a waiting list for the basket. So the last person, a person that took the basket a couple of weeks ago, has a friend that wants to use the basket. So I said, well, I tell you what, instead of putting her on the waiting list and making her wait, why don't you just invite her over and I'll come and show her the products. And if you want to invite some other people over, and if they end up purchasing, you're going to get some free stuff. So, just always be flexible and offer that. But yeah, I try to not offer the basket right off the front end. I try to save that for people that seem interested but have an obstacle of why they can't meet together in person.
I love that. Awesome.
All right. And then my third, I'm going to grab my calendar real quick, is to know when you can work. And I still I know a lot of people are smart enough to be able to do their calendar on the phone. I'm not one of those people. I have tried, and so I have to be able to look at my calendar, and I like having so find a calendar that works for you. I have found what works for me is having month at a glance, but being able to flip over and having the week at a glance. So if I want to record some details about what's coming up, I can flip to that page and do it. But like I have mine color coded, and my pink is kind of light. My pink is my team stuff, my blue is my personal stuff, and my yellow is when I'm available. So whenever I glance at my calendar, I already know when I'm available. If someone tells you, yes, I'd love to come over, or yes, I'd like to do a party, and you say, okay, well, let me get back with you, and then you call them, and then you play phone tag, and by the time you talk, it's 3 weeks later, and they've lost their excitement about doing it. It's better to go ahead and get that date and don't ask yes or no questions. Don't ask them if they've said they want to do an appointment or a party with you. Don't call them back and say, do you still want to do it? Because you may not realize it, but you're calling them a liar. If they told you, yes, I want to do it, and you call them back and say, do you still want to do it? What they're hearing is, she didn't believe me when I said I wanted to do it. And, so just take people at their word. And if they've said yes, then you're going to, okay, well, let's go ahead and jot it down. Do you want a weeknight, a weekend? What's going to be better for you? And sometimes you're going to hear, well, I don't have my schedule or whatever. And you can, well, let me go ahead and text you some dates and then make sure you follow up. Like I have 2 people I've texted dates in the last 24 hours. And if I haven't heard from them by tomorrow, I'm going to pick up the phone and call them and make sure they got that. So just knowing when you can work, and also decide how often you want to work. What's your perfect schedule like? My perfect schedule would be 1 party a week and 2 consultations a week. That would be my perfect scenario for working my business. Just decide, how much time do you have? Can you only do 1 party a month? Can you do, whatever? And then just put that on the calendar so that you're ready. Also, offering your home or theirs. A lot of times people don't want to clean, or maybe they live out in the country, or their husband sleeps funny hours, and so they don't really feel like their house is an option. I prefer that they come here, because then I'm not having to pack anything up. I can hop right on the computer if I need to do something. It's way more convenient for me, but I don't mind traveling to them either. So I can, especially now, gosh, we have 1 bag and we can take everything in 1 bag. So that's amazing to be able to walk in and out and do that also. Now, the last thing, and I kind of saved the best for last, and this is what I have found in TruAura is my best, most effective way of scheduling appointments, and that is before and after pictures. And I'll hold these up in just a second, but I wanted to do my own before and after. So of course I've got my own, and whenever someone purchases TLC, and I'm trying to do it where they're using all 7 products, because the people that are just using the basic skincare, they definitely feel a difference in the texture, the smoothness, the way their skin feels. But to see those visible differences, you really need to be using the repair product. And it makes more of an impact if I can say, this is my personal client, this is one of the consultants on my team, versus this is someone in another state that had good results. It just leaves more impact. And not only that, you can also put your website or your Facebook or whatever you want to do. So I do the before and afters. I either take them myself, or if I'm giving someone the basket and they have makeup on, then I ask them to wash off the makeup and take their own before and after, and I coach them on how to do it. Either stand in front of a window or use, wherever you've got good lighting, use the same lighting. So I coach them through all that. It's like, this is my before and after, and 19 years of beauty control, 1 week of TruAura, and that's me. Most people don't recognize me with no makeup, but I promise that's me. And just, the before and afters, these are great if you're at a booth. I have some of those clear plastic stands. This is a lady that you can see in the tone of her skin. This is one of my consultants over in Arkansas. And even my older clients, like, the lines are not as deep. And that's another thing. You kind of have to tell them what to look for. Like, look at the smoothness around her eyes. Look at how the depth of her lines are less. And I print these, have them printed at Walmart or Walgreens, and I laminate them. That's why they're shiny. So you kind of have to point out, what they're looking at. Like, look around the eyes. This is another one that's pretty dramatic. And, just using your own before and afters. I use these at the party to book additional. I use these at booths. If I'm at a 1-to-1, I show them the product, and that kind of takes me to how I close. I usually, you want to kind of save that for the end. If they don't know what it is or why they would want it or how to get it, don't be trying to close on them yet. So you want to take the time to explain, show them the product, tell them about the product. And by the way, I love the live that Gary did last night. I took a lot of notes, and I'm going to go back. And by the time he goes through all 7 pieces, we're going to have such good verbiage to use. But at the end, I give them the option of course, they can purchase a piece or 2 retail, and I tell them about the TLC. But, I just kind of put these before and afters in front of them at the end. I don't do this in the beginning. I do it at the end, and I just kind of lay these out, and I talk about the differences and see how her eyes are better over here, and look around the corners of her mouth. And this kind of speaks for itself. I just kind of lay these out, and then I ask them, if they want to do the TLC, or if they just want to purchase products whenever they're ready, and just explain about TLC and how it's 15% off of any product we have as long as you're in the product, how they can qualify for free shipping on their doorstep deliveries. And then, of course, just ask them if they have questions, and, take the time to answer those. So.
I love that. Now, are you taking pictures in the TruPic app or just on your phone?
I haven't yet because like some of these I took before we had the TruPic, and if I'm taking them on TruPic, I'm also taking them on my phone because they may end up sending me their after picture. And some before and afters I just haven't been able to use because the lighting was too different. Like maybe I took one picture, they took one picture, but I do need to. It's like I'm doubling up. I'm taking TruPic, but then I'm taking my own picture also.
Okay.
But, and you know, I've got my website, you know, on these pictures, and I'm letting people know, you know, these are all my personal, you know, I took this picture myself, or, you know, whatever. Gosh, my most dramatic one's not even in here. I'm not sure where I set that one down, but I have a friend that did it, and I took both pictures, and she has a visible line in the middle of her forehead that is gone on the after picture, and I took both of those myself. So being able to say that these pictures are not doctored, I took both of these pictures, and I can assure you there was no filter applied or anything like that. But those are, you know, we got to see the people. So just getting out there and letting people know what we have and giving them the options. You know, they're definitely in control of what they purchase. We just want to make sure we explain to them what we have to offer. I think I've lost you. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. You're welcome. Okay.